Do you want to leave now? I am not having that shouting like that again. Are you going to answer me? Right, okay, apologies taken.
A dramatic clash has erupted in the House of Commons after Labour unexpectedly cancelled a scheduled Opposition Day debate, prompting accusations that the government is avoiding scrutiny of the incoming Prime Minister. Ministers insist the decision was necessary because of an unfolding international crisis, while the opposition claims it's nothing more than political damage control. Let's break down exactly what happened. Before we begin, take a second to like this video and subscribe to Britain Talks Daily. Now, let's watch this.
We now come to the statement. Leader of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With permission, I'll make a short statement to provide an update on tomorrow's business. The business for tomorrow, Wednesday the 15th of July, will now be a general debate on Iran, followed by...
Sorry, Leader.
Sorry.
Do you want to leave now?
The debate begins with what appears to be a routine business statement from the Leader of the House. However, it quickly becomes clear that tomorrow's parliamentary schedule has changed significantly. Instead of the planned Opposition Day debate, MPs will now hold a general debate on the rapidly developing situation in Iran. While governments are responsible for arranging Commons business, changing the agenda at the last minute, particularly before Parliament rises for the summer recess, is almost guaranteed to attract political criticism, especially when important opposition business is affected.
I am not having that shouting like that again. Are you going to answer me? Right, okay, apologies taken. Leader of the House.
Before the political arguments even begin, Speaker Sir Lindsay Hoyle is forced to intervene after shouting breaks out across the chamber. Moments like this are not unusual during heated Commons exchanges, but they highlight just how tense the atmosphere has become. The Speaker's role is to maintain order and ensure that every MP has the opportunity to be heard without constant interruptions. His intervention reminds the House that passionate disagreement is expected, but parliamentary debate must still follow established rules and standards of conduct.
Mr. Speaker, the House will rise for the summer recess at the conclusion of business on Thursday the 16th of July and return on Tuesday the 1st of September, and I will make a further business statement on Thursday.
Shadow Leader of the House, Jessie Norman.
Sir Alan Campbell confirms that Parliament will rise for its summer recess at the conclusion of business on Thursday before returning in early September. Although this may sound like a routine procedural announcement, the timing is politically significant. Once Parliament enters recess, opportunities for MPs to question ministers in the Commons become far more limited. That is precisely why any proposal to delay the recess, even by a single day, can become highly controversial when major political developments are taking place.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a total humiliation and embarrassment for the government. Yesterday, they published an emergency change to government business in order to ram the Hillsborough Law through this House with no notice and an absolute minimum of scrutiny. Now they have backtracked again on their own business and cancelled the Opposition Day, which they themselves had scheduled. Now, why is that, Mr. Speaker? Let me read the motion that caused so much consternation in the Whip's office and in number 10, that this House calls on the government to bring forward a motion to change the date it adjourns to Monday, 20th of July, to enable the new Prime Minister to make a statement about his plans for government. In other words, the government changed the business. It refused even to delay the activity of this House by one day in order to permit the Prime Minister, as he will be, to take a statement and to answer questions as to his intentions and plans. The government has a majority of more than 150, Mr. Speaker, and it could not trust its MPs to vote the right way on that motion. And it could not bear the idea of a new Prime Minister facing any scrutiny before September. A Prime Minister, let me remind us all, who has been chosen by a coronation, not a contest, with no known platform, almost no known policies, and no idea of his priorities or indeed his cabinet team. They pushed us, Mr. Speaker, to take an opposition day tomorrow. They cannot bear the scrutiny, and now they're cancelling it. And to do so hiding under the, I'm afraid, thoroughly distastefully, under the news, the very distressing news that's happening in Iran, when they could have framed a statement today from the Minister or tomorrow on this issue is, I think, completely disreputable. They're not even cancelling it, Mr. Speaker, for legislation. They could have kept the Representation of the People Act. They're cancelling it for a general debate with no votes. Mr. Speaker, it's the worst possible exit for a Prime Minister, the desperate attempt to create a legacy as though this could alter 2 solid years of failure. And it is the worst possible start for a new Prime Minister. People across this country will see what has happened and they will conclude that this is a man who is fricked, running scared of public scrutiny, before he can even take office.
Shadow Leader of the House, Jesse Norman, launches a forceful attack, accusing Labour of deliberately cancelling the Opposition Day debate to shield the incoming Prime Minister from immediate parliamentary scrutiny. He argues that the Conservatives intended to propose delaying Parliament's recess by 1 day so the new Prime Minister could appear before MPs, explain his priorities and answer questions. Norman claims a government with such a large Commons majority should have had no difficulty defeating the motion if it truly disagreed with it. Instead, he suggests ministers chose to remove the debate altogether because they feared the political optics of allowing scrutiny at such an important moment. He also argues that the government's decision to replace the debate with a discussion on Iran could have been handled differently without cancelling opposition business, framing the move as politically motivated rather than procedurally necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If I may introduce some facts into the situation. He reads out, Mr. Speaker, a motion which he tells us was to be tabled for tomorrow. I have to say it's the first I've heard of the words of a motion, because Mr. Speaker, no such motion was tabled for the opposition tomorrow. It was not tabled for tomorrow. We did not see the words of the motion. A decision was made on whether or not the House should debate an unfolding international crisis or not.
Responding on behalf of the government, Sir Alan Campbell rejects the Conservatives' allegations and disputes the central claim entirely. He says the motion Jesse Norman referred to had never actually been tabled before the decision was made, meaning ministers could not have cancelled parliamentary business in response to a proposal they had not formally received. Campbell argues that the government's priority was ensuring Parliament debated an unfolding international crisis, presenting the schedule change as a responsible decision based on current events rather than an attempt to avoid political accountability. His response highlights the sharply different narratives now emerging from both sides of the House. Today's exchange perfectly illustrates how procedural decisions inside Parliament can quickly become major political battles. On one side, the Conservative opposition argues that Labour cancelled an Opposition Day debate because it wanted to prevent immediate scrutiny of the incoming Prime Minister. Their case is built on the belief that Parliament should always have the opportunity to question a new national leader before MPs leave for the summer recess. They argue that delaying Parliament's break by just 1 day would have strengthened accountability and given the public greater clarity about the government's direction. The government, however, presents a very different explanation. Ministers insist that no formal opposition motion had been tabled before the business decision was made. They also argue that the rapidly developing international situation in Iran deserved Parliament's immediate attention, making it reasonable to rearrange the Commons agenda. From their perspective, this was a practical decision based on world events rather than an attempt to avoid difficult political questions. Ultimately, this debate is about more than a single day's parliamentary timetable. It raises wider questions about how governments manage Commons business, how much influence the opposition should have over parliamentary scrutiny, and how procedural decisions can shape political narratives. These are issues that affect the balance between executive power and parliamentary accountability, something that lies at the heart of the UK's democratic system. As always, it's important to look beyond the political headlines and consider the arguments presented by both sides before reaching a conclusion. Parliamentary exchanges are often highly charged, but understanding the procedures behind the politics helps us better understand why these disputes matter. Now, we'd love to hear your view. Do you think Labour made the right decision by changing Parliament's business to debate the international crisis? Or should the Opposition Day debate have gone ahead to allow greater scrutiny of the incoming Prime Minister? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this analysis, please leave a like, subscribe to Britain Talks Daily and turn on notifications so you never miss our coverage of Westminster, Prime Minister's questions, parliamentary debates, and the biggest stories shaping UK politics. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next analysis.